Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if this will be going up on Friday, but it should really be Fragrance Friday. I'm hopeless at keeping up any of these series I kind of think I'm going to do and never get the time to do. But I thought I would talk today a little bit about a couple of perfumes, well, four that I still love, but I'm putting away for the summer. Ne'er cast a clout till May is out, my grandma used to say. That is, don't change into your summer wardrobe until at least the 1st of June. We've been having some very hot weather in the UK, but also true to form, some fairly miserable weather, as it is this evening. But it's definitely time to put away the winter fragrances that I feel are too heavy to wear in the summer. There's one exception for me, which is my all-time favourite that I've talked about before, Tom Ford's Black Orchid, which I think is definitely quite a heavy, heady, oriental, spicy fragrance, which I would normally associate in other fragrances with the winter or certainly with evening. But I just love that fragrance so much that I do wear it year round, although I tend to wear it only for going out in the evening in the summer because it really is quite a heavy fragrance. Interestingly, I've been noticing a lot of men wearing it during the day at the moment. I know it is a unisex fragrance, or it's marketed as a unisex fragrance, although I think the packaging is quite feminine, I have to say. But yeah, I mean, it smells so good on anyone. I'm always pleased when I can smell it. It's so recognizable to me. And definitely men are in the business of wearing it all day, but I feel slightly awkward certainly wearing it for work. It's just too strong. And the same is true of these fragrances during the summer. So the first of them is a really old fragrance, Opium, from Yves Saint Laurent, established, I think, or first put on the market. I should have done my research, but I think definitely in the 70s. I can remember my mum wearing it in the mid-70s, and I really liked it. And I really liked the very thick body cream they did with this. It's a spicy oriental, no two ways about it. Now, YSL have played about with Opium a lot in recent years and done various new versions of it, some of them very sweet indeed. Black Opium, for example, I find really, really cloying. And even the plain Opium is not now to my taste. So I'm forced to kind of look for vintage bottles on the internet, and this is one that I have going at the moment, which is certainly going back to, I suspect, the 80s or early 90s, and is the old incarnation. I do love Opium. It reminds me of my mum, and it is a fragrance that I like, but it's very strong. It's quite kind of warming, and so it's definitely one that I associate with the winter. And the same goes for Coco by Chanel. As you know, I'm a lover of most Chanel fragrances. I absolutely loathe Chance. I'm not keen on Allure, but other than that, I pretty much like all of them to a greater or lesser extent. Oh, I'm not keen on Les Exclusives number 18 either. But most Chanel fragrances I really, really love. And I've grown to love Coco. It wasn't one of my initial favourites. There's a lot in it that reminds me of the old YSL Opium, but it's richer, it's deeper. It definitely changes on my skin more than YSL, which remains a very consistent spicy oriental throughout its wear on me, which is relatively long term with the vintage versions. The new ones wear off very quickly, I find. Whereas Cocoa changes and becomes a lot lighter and a bit more floral on me, but it's still a very heavy, heady warming fragrance. And I think quite a mature fragrance, which nothing wrong with that for me. Goodness knows I'm not exactly in the first flush of youth. But I don't kind of feel light and young when I wear it. More kind of sensible and hopefully a little bit sophisticated. Definitely a winter fragrance. So I'm putting it away, and I'm putting it away carefully in its box in a nice dark cupboard to protect it until next year. Equally, Chanel number 5. I'm not as keen on the newer versions, that is, of the standard number 5. That's post 1988, I think, when it was reformulated. This again is a vintage version that I've nearly finished, and it's a parfum, so it's a lot stronger than the new stuff. And again, I very much associate it with winter because although it's a floral, obviously, Chanel number 5, very famous floral with the aldehydes, giving it that kind of punch. It's quite dense to me, and I much prefer wearing in the summer Eau Premiere, which I like a lot. I think it's a really, really nice version of number 5. And much nicer than the more modern formulations of the original number 5. I'm really excited to find out what the new formulation is going to be like. If you haven't heard, number 5 is being relaunched again later this summer. So it'd be interesting to see what they've done with it, because it's been some years since the original has been revamped. And I'm also excited to smell the new Les Exclusives Boy, which I think may be in the shops now or any day now. I haven't had a chance to go down to the boutique, but rest assured I will be. I'm thinking Boy will be a suitable summer fragrance. But for the meantime, my little Chanel number 5 that I've got on the go at the moment is going away until next year. Sometimes when I sell perfumes on eBay, people say, "Oh, you've had it for 2 years. Will it have gone off?" No, 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 no. A good perfume, provided you're not sticking it in hot, sticky, direct sunlight or anything like that, should last literally for decades. You know, I have some vintage perfumes, and one has to accept that in some respects, the quality of the ingredients was better in decades gone past than it is now, but you know they still smell just as good. So be careful how you store, but otherwise, you know, perfume is one of those things, if not forever, is certainly for a very long time. The other one that I'm putting away is one of my Guerlain's, Shalimar, and again, this is not the original. This is the Parfum Initial, which was a reformulation, which I personally prefer. This is one of Guerlain's great classics. I think most Guerlains are pretty heavy going. I think of Samsara, which, you know, really kind of announces whoever's wearing it about, you know, 5 minutes before they arrive in the room. L'air bleu, someone was wearing that the other day, and they'd obviously been in the ladies' room, and I went in afterwards, and you could really smell it. It goes everywhere. They're not, to be honest, although I appreciate what wonderfully complex creations many of the old classic Guerlains are, they're not generally to my taste. I do like Mitsuku, and interestingly, it's a fragrance that people often admire on me. And I do like this much lighter Shalimar Initial. I say lighter, it's still, as I say, too heavy for me to wear in the summer. But you know, that Guerlain are definitely perfumes that you have to smell and try and appreciate, but they're not to everybody's taste. They're rather grand in a way, I think, and often a bit powdery, and not modern, but you know, not old-fashioned. That makes it sound kind of bad. I think L'Heure Bleu is quite an old-fashioned fragrance. They're just grand, they're classic, they're not quite for me, but I know a number of people who have a Guerlain fragrance as their kind of signature fragrance. and they're so distinctive that they make great signature fragrances if you find one that's for you. But for the time being, Shalimar will go away until the autumn. So those four going away. Various summer fragrances are coming out. I will talk about them in a week or so. But until then, bye for now.